there's a spot where you can put on chains.
Well, that's where I stopped, right there.
Yeah. So our in-laws actually got stuck on this in an RV in a rental years ago. And they had to put on chains on the rental, actual chains, because they didn't have auto socks or anything nice. And there was so much damage to the wheel wells of the RV, the rental, that they brought back because of the chains, that they had to pay all this money to the RV rental company. So, you know, that's why we use auto socks. And I think we're actually going to set up the RV, it's a Freightliner, and so there's a way that we can do these auto chains where they just drop down like the way that it works on school buses. And it'll drop down and let us just have chains when we need them. And we're thinking that's a good modification to put in place before we head to Alaska. So we're still climbing up, as you saw, at 6 miles, and we're third gear so that we can get enough momentum to stay at 40 miles per hour. It's nice because we have 2 lanes going up so other people can pass us if the cars and stuff want to drive a little faster.
Girls, I have to explore that someday. You see it?
Yeah, I do. A great part about coming up into these areas in Colorado are all the cool mines. So there, you can see a mine over there. The other nice thing that's up here is Monarch Ski Resort, which I've never skied at. But it's supposed to be nice. Kind of far from everywhere I've lived, so we've just never come up here to ski, but it's more affordable than a lot of the other options in Colorado. It's a little more of the mine.
The Donna mine. Up here, girls, watch. To the left, there's a Jeep. Oh, just a dog. And a lady.
Only wildlife is the dog.
Yeah, right. Dog sled rides. Hey, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
You guys see that? Dog sled rides.
Monarch Park, it showed a camping sign. We'll have to look into, I don't know about that drive, that dirt road down there. It looks pretty steep.
Look at the steep roads up there.
Yeah.
Jeep worthy.
Yeah, Jeep worthy. I don't know about the Jayco. So the ski area, we're almost to the ski area. Speed limit's 45. A lot of these cars are doing 50, 55, and we're doing about 40.
40 and third. 2,500 RPMs.
So just a reminder too, if you don't know, in Colorado, from September 1st to May 31st, you have to have chains with you. So for a motorhome like ours, where we don't have we can't put it into 4-wheel drive, and we don't have like snow tires and stuff, then the requirement is to have chains or auto socks with you at all times during those months if you're traveling on I-70. So you have to be sure to have them, and it's always good to know how to use them. We like using the auto socks because it doesn't jack up the wheel wells on your RV. There's some evidence auto socks work better than chains on ice.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, so he's got a semi-truck front, and then he's towing his travel trailer behind.
We're going hunting.
Monarch Mountain. There's the ski resort. Ooh, the sun's a little blinding. Probably can't even see that.
He's got an RV.
Ski resort's out there though. Okay, and now the lane has gone down to a 1 lane, at least for us on the
You can't
ascent.
see, but back there is gorgeous, stunning.
Yeah. You think this is fire damage or beetle kill? I mean, there's so much.
Beetle kill, I think. Looks like beetle kill.
Yeah, it doesn't quite look like the way a fire would travel. Monarch Pass. I bet that's a fun jeeping area. Oh, logging ahead. Huh. Oh, cool. It's a chairlift that goes up to that top. That's where Jeremy goes and skis. And I stay down by the hot chocolate at the ski lodge. And here we go, we open back up to 2 lanes. It's not too bad. People have a chance to pass. None of these passes are fun in the winter, but
Even with a regular car.
yeah.
Even with 4-wheel drive and snow tires.
Yep.
Depends on the day. But it's also not something you should be afraid of.
Yeah, we were just talking about how we were looking at one of our Jayco forums and how people are avoiding I-70 completely because they don't want to drive through Eisenhower Tunnel, which, yeah, it's scary, a little scary. Vail Pass is a little tough too, but you're really missing out on seeing a lot of beautiful places if you're so scared that you're unwilling to drive to those locations. I think it's better to kind of have a heads up of what you're getting into and what it's going to look like, and watching these videos and see how other people do it. Still in 3rd gear, still going about 40.
Up at the pass.
Here we go.
The crest. The Monarch Crest.
Monarch Crest, Continental Divide. Scenic ride. Continental Divide. You can take the ride, I guess, up to the mountaintop
Look at that.
and be at the top of the Continental Divide. Which, if you're driving through Colorado enough, you're going to pass the Continental Divide a few times. Okay, now for the fun stuff.
Looks pretty old.
Yeah. That ride might be scarier than this drive. So I'll come back and add some voiceover on the grade here if it doesn't tell me up ahead, because I don't know it off the top of my head.
So first of all, we got our engine brake on.
Yes.
And I'm in
Pop.
3rd gear.
And only going about 25 miles per hour, which is
Optimally, I
fine.
want to be 35 or less going down any steep pass like this. Whatever the signs say, you want to be in control. That way, if you really needed to, you're okay. So I have my foot off the pedal right now, and I'm cruising at 30 miles an hour. Very comfortable. Let's take my first pass. Now, if I'm going to tap my brakes, which I haven't tapped my brakes yet, I'm only going to do that going into the turn. So here's a perfect example. This is a corkscrew turn. We're going to go all the way back, and so I'm going to just tap my brakes right now and just feel myself go better under control going into that turn, now knowing that I'm going all the way back.
Looks like we've got this 6% grade for the next 9 miles.
6% is not the end of the world.
No, but 9 miles is pretty long. So
Jackson Hole was up at 10%.
I know.
That was a really steep grade.
I don't feel like it was as long though, that it was
wasn't.
9 miles.
I mean, that's the benefit of doing a steeper. You know, this is, you know, but here's, so here I'm kind of getting, my speed is up a little bit. I'm just going to tap my brakes. I can't see around this corner. And I know there's sun about to hit my face. One of the things people not from Colorado don't realize is sun is a big problem. Glare is an issue. So as you're moving into these spots where you have a lot of glare, be sure that you anticipate that as much as you can.
You might be blinded for a few seconds.
Always wear your sunglasses too. This time of day, it seems like, you know, take them off and then you get around a corner and you get blinded. So here again, I'm about 35 miles an hour, but I'm going into a turn. I'm just going to go ahead and tap my brakes, not ride them. Ride them is where you're going to warp your brakes, and then they're going to overheat and they're not going to be effective. Here at this point, now I'm just tapping them. There's no reason to fear this stuff. It's just a matter of practice and taking it slowly and being in control. If you let the vehicle get out of control, then yeah, you're going to have to worry. But my greatest fear is always tipping it. So that's part of the reason why I keep it under control, is because I don't want to tip it. I don't want to get surprised by a sudden, hairpin turn, and I didn't anticipate it, and then suddenly I have to turn quickly and I flip the rig. Right there at 40 miles an hour and about 2,500 RPMs, riding 2 to 3 very comfortable. Really can let it out to 3. So, heaven forbid you should ever have to use a runaway truck ramp. The way that they work is essentially your brakes, you go to press your brakes and they're not working, and you're going to have to guide yourself up a hill, and sometimes they're flat and they have like water hazards or sand hazards to be able to slow you down. Again, tapping just as I'm going into that turn. Now coming out, I can feel the engines braking it. It's very much in control, very much in control. Now I feel the sway of the centripetal force bringing me back around the corner here. Again, I'm going to probably tap my brakes at the front of this turn. I just want to be nice and control. I got a blinded side here. I can't see what's coming up.
I usually judge how bad the passes are by how many runaway truck ramps. So if they actually have a runaway truck ramp, you know that's probably an issue. One of our tires is just slightly low in the Jeep, so that keeps going off. It's not bad. It's on the lower end of normal, but...
The other thing you want to do is turn your lights on. You notice everybody's got their lights on. This time of day, because of the way that the light works in the mountains, how you have this blinding light coming, you want every opportunity for that oncoming traffic to see you. Big rigs got some little indicator lights up on top of the sleeper, and so you want to make sure that that's as much illuminated as possible. Give yourself every chance. So here's an example. This is a tight turn. You definitely want to bring yourself down. I brought myself all the way down to 25 miles an hour there because I'm approaching a tight turn. I got a lot of speed, and I need that to be under control for me. I'm not going to take any chances at 35. It's just, it felt too fast. Same thing. Now when I get into a straightaway, I can let it out just a little bit. Feel it pop up. Again, this is going to corkscrew all the way to the left. Hairpin back and around. I want to brake now. Not before we get to the turn, because then you're going to be riding your brake all the way through the turn. You're punching your brake right before you get to that turn. And then now you let it out at the end of the turn. That way you're not constantly riding that brake. This is a nice flat straightaway here. It's 45 miles an hour. I'm going to go ahead and let it out. Don't need to worry about anything right now. I'm not going to overbrake. Overbraking is another major problem I see with some real tentative drivers. They overbrake. No, this is 45 miles an hour. If you were on the freeway, you'd feel very comfortable at 45. Now in this type of situation, we're going downhill, so people feel uncomfortable in this situation. But the truth is, you're only going 45 miles an hour. Take the rest of it out of the equation. Now I'm going to brake going into this turn. Can't see what's going on. It's a nice steady turn. I don't feel like I need to re-brake. And 6% grade for the next 5 miles. Stay in low gear. They want you to stay in low gear. Here's a nice solid turn. This is going to come right into the light. I want to really brake, make sure I'm under control, and I see what's going on as that bright light hits my face. Let it out in the straightaway, getting the turn, I'm going to punch the brakes again. Coming into the turn, now I'm in a nice controlled situation. I know I'm going to do another turn here. So again, I'm going to punch the brake right now as I'm coming into the turn. So now as that centripetal force is most, right about now, I'm not feeling the brake tip. I'm straight up. I don't feel it's leaning to one side. I'm going to have to punch it again on this turn because it's a long turn. Now I can let it out again. That's it. All there is to driving these mountain turns, there's nothing to be afraid of.
And don't let the cars behind you pressure you to try to go faster, because that's how you end up on the runaway truck ramp.
Yeah, that's, it is unfortunate that sometimes we hold people back. But, there are service trucks that work for the Colorado Department of Transportation, and they hold people up too. There's sometimes people moving their homes, and they got big wide homes on them, and they hold people up. Here's a runway truck example. So if you go up, you can see that's gravel. And then at the top, there's a big, my guess is those are filled with sand. I suppose they can be filled with water, but the water dries up so fast. Again, braking into that turn. We have a real tight turn here, so we're going to go ahead and brake as I'm coming in. Dropping this our speed so that I can really see what's going on. And then I can go ahead and make up that speed. You're not shooting for fuel efficiency. This is not a fuel efficiency type of thing. As much as you can, you want to keep the vehicle in down low gear so that way you're not riding the brakes. Place where I can turn off. I'm going to go ahead and just turn off. Safe spot, nice and flat. The things that I look for when I'm turning off is I want to see that this has got no grade, it's not falling off, and I can see behind me. So this is a nice flat straightaway. You don't want to pull over where you're at the other side of a tight turn and you can't see the oncoming traffic, because then you're going to cut somebody off coming back out. So that was a perfect turn off where I can just let people go by. When you get an opportunity to do that, they appreciate that. It's actually safer so that they don't have to be braking behind you. But you need the right spot. Here's another example. There's a little bit of a drop there, but it's actually leveled out pretty easy. That'd be a fine place to come off. Now, not into traffic. I don't want to do that into traffic. But if I were coming uphill in that situation. Centripetal force, you start feeling the vehicle. If there's any sway or tilt to it, then you really do need to be braking nice and steady. Because you're applying the brake too. You're not hitting it real hard. You're nice and ease on and then ease off. You don't want your passengers to be head bobbing, I said. controlled pass. I'm very comfortable. And there's not a lot of traffic. You know, that's the other, I mean, today is a Sunday evening, so we happen to hit it at a really good time for traffic. But, you know, when you're going in places and there's a lot of traffic, then that adds a whole other dynamic because you really have to be watching what others are doing around you. Sometimes you'll run into a truck in front of you that's really slow, and it's going to really affect your ability to ascend. Then again, you'll see those same truckers, they'll go through the crest of the hill, the mountain, and then they'll start to go like crazy. They'll let it out. They don't want to brake, and so they let it out so that they can have speed for the next hill. Problem with that strategy is then they're really putting everybody at risk around them, and I just don't think it's a controlled way to drive.
It's probably most of it.